In this video, I'm going to show you how to graph and reflect points that have rational numbers. So if you look at number 1, I have my coordinate grid over here with my vertical y-axis and my horizontal x-axis. And then over here to the right, I have my 3 points, which are going to make a shape once they're connected. So I've already labeled my coordinates x and y. So if you look at point A, my x coordinate is 1.5 or 1.5. So that's my rational number. And my y coordinate is my -1 integer. If you look at point B, my x coordinate is 7.5 or 7.5. My y coordinate is -1. And then point C also has a rational number for 7.5 as my x coordinate or 7.5 and -6 as my y. So I'm going to go ahead and graph those points. So let's start with A. And I'm going to start at my origin. Now, because I have my x-coordinate as 1.5, that means I'm just going to take a step and then an extra little half step. So if I start at my origin, I'm going to go over 1 and then take another little half step. Now, my y-coordinate is a -1, which tells me to go down 1 full step. And I'm going to land right there. Okay, so again, I went over 1 and a little half, and then I went down a full unit because my y was a whole number of -1. So I'm going to label that A, and I'll check that off. Now my B ordered pair is 7.5, -1. So I'm going to start at my origin again, and this time because it's positive again, I'm going to go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and because it has a half, I'm going to take a little half step. Now my y-coordinate again is a -1, so I'm going to take my pen and go down 1 whole step, and there's my B. Now because I'm graphing a shape, I'm going to take those 2 points and I'm going to connect it with a line. And then last I have my point C, which is 7.5, -6. So I'm going to start back on my origin again and go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then a half a step again. So I'm not going over all the way to 8, just a half a step. And then I'm going to go down 6 full steps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's my C. So it's okay if it's graphed in between the 2 lines because half steps only put you halfway. So you only are supposed to go halfway in between the little unit box. Okay, so now since I did my last point, I'm going to connect my 2. And then since I have no more points, I'm going to close up my shape. And as you can see, because it was 3 points, it made a triangle. So now it asks us to reflect over the x-axis. So I remember back to my rules that if I reflect over the x, my x-coordinates stay the same and my y changes. So I'm going to look back at my original points up here, A, B, and C, and I'm going to keep all of my x-coordinates the same, and they're rational numbers, and my y-coordinates are going to change to their opposites. So I'm going to have A be 1.5 and +1. My B is going to be 7.5, stays the same, and my -1 changes to a +1. And then for my C coordinate, 7.5 or 7.5 stays the same, and my -6 changes to a 6. And then I can just go and graph my new reflected points. And since it's changing over the x-axis, it should look like it's being flipped up into quadrant 1.